Hi everybody, Erica here with Fibersandfloss Canada. I'm so happy to be back with you guys. It's been almost a month since I have filmed last. Just haven't had a lot of time for filming. We are homeschooling our youngest right now, which has taken a lot of my time that I normally would film or stitch. So I don't have as much to show you, and it's been a little bit longer since I would normally have liked to have filmed, but that's okay. This is life, right? I have quite a bit to share with you today. It's Sampler September. It's my favorite month of the year. I love stitching Sampler September. I have some bags that I want to share, ones that I have left for sale. I have some swap information. I have a very good friend that went shopping in Japan and went to the Kohana store and has allowed me to share her haul from there. So I got some really nice goodies to share with you guys. And you know what I've been reading, and I have some big plans for the end of the month as well. So without further ado, let's just dive right in. As always, I try not to make these too long, and somehow they just spiral out of control. So here is my book of days. Now for September, like I had said, just didn't get to stitch as much as I wanted. So I did stitch pretty much every day that I wasn't working, but on those days, just the total amount of time I'm stitching is less than normal. You know, I couldn't be more excited to add some sort of like autumnal stickers, you know, kind of getting into the fall colors. Of course, it's Sampler September, and I have my list of whips here. It's interesting actually to see, I was looking at my book from last year and how the whips have actually changed over the course of the year. And what I'm trying to do is focus on my oldest ones and kind of rotate those through. And some of those older pieces are quite large pieces. Angel of Spring, of course, is my oldest, and that's something I worked on a fair bit at the cabin with Samantha. And now that it's Sampler September, I've tucked that away just to the end of the month. I want to pull it back out again for autumn and hopefully finish that this year. Then I have 100 Owls, which is really fun, but I'm doing a bit of a different creative process on that one. And then my next oldest is Dutch Beauty, and that is a mammoth of a stitch, which I am just about to start working on this week. So really, really fun to, you know, record your stitching. If you guys don't do that, I do recommend it. It doesn't need to be this book, it can be any journal, but it's neat to kind of keep track of what you have been stitching, and it's kind of a bit of like a meditative thing too, right? Like just writing down what you're working on, seeing your progress, that sort of thing. So, and stickers, who doesn't love stickers, right? So I have a few things. First of all, I just want to say, you know, it's autumn now, it's fall, it's my favorite season. This is the time of year where I kind of settle back in. The kids are going back to school, you know, I have my candles going, the house is cozy, you know, I pull up my sourdough starter, get that going again, lots of stitching time, you know, the gas fireplace goes on. I really, really love autumn, so I'm really excited, not only for my stitching plans, but just, you know, to live autumn, right? So I wanted to just, for housekeeping, a couple people had been asking what I have left for bags, and I wasn't sure because I had been away with Sam. Since I've been home, I have 5 bags left that I can sell. So if you're interested in any of these, you can reach out via email, which is linked in the description box here, or on my Instagram. So just very quickly, I'll show you the images that I have left. I've got one of these. All this fabric is made by Teresa Kogut as well. And some of the quilted fabric, the linens are a little bit different. So I've got the solid green pattern. I have the quilted front with, I guess, more burgundies. And then I have the golden quilted front as well. All these bags are a little bit on the larger side. They're about 11 by probably 15 or 16. Instagram, I have posted the dimensions. So if you're interested, pop on over to there. And if you're not interested, don't worry about it. The next thing I wanted to talk about was Canada swaps. So this was actually really, really cool. And I need to put this somewhere, but I have so much stuff piled up to show you guys. I don't have a good spot. Okay. So Canada swaps. The States has a ton of really good swaps. There are a couple ladies, Karen, the Stitching Owl. So she's at at the Stitching Owl. And then of course there's Michelle and Sheryll, and they are at the 2, spelled out, Bay Stitchers. And so together they decided to host a swap that was just for Canadian residents, and it was actually really fun. This time they wanted to make sure we also stitched a Canadian designer, so that was also a lot of fun, just learning about some new designers as well. So I had sent my swap off, so did Samantha. We finished that together at the cabin. It was great. And then early in September we received our swap. So the swap that I had received is so very cool, you guys, and I wanted to share that with you. So mine is from a lady named Betty, and Betty is from Norwich in Ontario, and I won't give any more information about her because I didn't ask if I could really share much about her, but she sent this beautiful box and the pillow that she stitched. So our smalls have to be, you know, 6 by 6 or smaller sort of thing. And she stitched this here. And it says, "Stitching Mends the Soul." And this is a tiny modernist pattern. And it was really cute. And she, of course, has finished it just lovely. And she just has a little 2024 charm on the back there. So this actually sits up in my stitching space right now, and I think it's really cute. I love the colors too. You know, the yellows and the oranges kind of blend in for autumn too. So it's on display right now downstairs. Now, this is the first time I've actually done a swap, so I didn't really know what to expect, you know, and I sent mine off with a couple, like, just tiny goodies inside. But Betty sent me this handmade needle book that she had made herself, and it's quilted, which, you know, I think sometimes when you receive a gift and you can really appreciate the effort that goes into something, makes it so much more, I don't know the word. Appreciate is not the right word, but you know, it's so much more than just an appreciated gift, because I can quilt and I know the effort that goes into it, and I really appreciate that. So this little book that she had made, it's got a couple pockets, and in the pocket she put some goodies. So there's a whole bunch of charms as well that I can add to my smalls. And then she's just decorated the pages with little, like, hand sewn, the buttons, the fabric, and then she's tucked in a new pack of needles as well. So I really like the little pockets. I think that's super cute. So thank you very much for that. And you know, she enclosed this beautiful letter, and she said, "You probably have tons of needle books, but you know, none made by me." And I thought, I don't actually have any needle books. So thank you, Betty. This is my one and only, and I'm using it, and I love it. It's so good. It's beautiful. Another thing that she had sent along as well is in Norwich, their town makes these Dutch cookies, and so these like, they're double Dutch waffle cookies. I'm not going to try and pronounce it in Dutch because I butcher the word every time. My mom's family is of Dutch heritage, and so we're not new to these cookies. We love them for sure. And these are actually made in her town. So, and then they're shipped worldwide. So she sent a couple packages of those, and myself and my children have already eaten one of the packages. So it was very appreciated. And then she's also sent a magnet here for Canada with some charms that she thought, you know, you can either use as a magnet or you can take the charms off and use them as poles. So really lovely gift. She put a very lovely letter sharing about her, you know, where she lives, a little bit about her town, and also the process of stitching. You know, she started stitching in the late 80s, early 90s, and you know, she's talking about the patterns and the colors, and I remember that because, you know, I started stitching in the early 90s, and you know, all the dusty rose colors and the greens, and that was very much, you know, what was in style then, right? The Laura Ashley and all that sort of stuff. So very, very cool to see. So thank you very much, Betty. Yeah, it was an awesome experience. I'll definitely do a swap again. So I'm hoping that you three ladies will host another Canada swap, which would be a ton of fun. Okay, now on to the stitching. So Sampler September, favorite time of the year. It's funny because I don't have a lot of samplers, but when I think I really like it because one, I like the sampler stitching, but I also like the switching over from, crazy busy summer, kids being home, to like a calm, cozy autumn, and I think for me, it's just the mental thought of like the feeling that comes with that, right? And so I get really excited for Sampler September. I had a big start this September the 1st. I chose to do my very first hats, which is Elizabeth Furness 1836. This is a really fun one. So I think I should have looked at this before I choose to speak about it, but I think this might be the very first sampler that Hands Across the Sea ever did. Correct me if I'm wrong, put a little comment, let me know. But it's beautiful, and I decided to try stitching something on a 56 count. So I've gone ahead and I have done that, and it's actually more enjoyable than, not that I didn't think it'd be enjoyable, but it's definitely more doable than I thought. I thought it might be quite challenging, and it's not. So first of all, great pattern. The feedback on hats, their charts are fantastic, very clear, big, easy to read. Absolutely love it. I would have loved to have got this as a PDF, but not all of their patterns are available as PDFs, and this one unfortunately is not, and that's okay. I am storing all my stuff except for my spools in this lovely Barrie bag that Barrie had sent me, and I have to tell you, Barrie, I love it. It's beautiful. I mean, you have another stitch here by Hands Across the Sea on the front. The quality is so good. If you guys, I waited so long to get a Barrie bag, and I appreciate so very much you being able to send that to me. If you don't have one, I definitely recommend you guys check her out. Her bags are top quality, beautiful fabrics, great design and handiwork. So without further ado, this is where I have started on my project, right in the very middle. And you can't even it doesn't look like anything. It's so small, right? So I'm gonna zoom right in for you guys here, and hopefully you can see that okay. I'll probably put some pictures in too. Now I started right in the very middle, and there's a lady and a man. And the lady in the very middle here, I have to say the stitching looks off. There was a slub in the fabric, and I thought, well, it's right smack in the center. I'm not skilled enough to take out a slub. I know how to do it. I feel like, and especially on a 56 count, it's gonna go sideways. I left it. I stitched over it. And I think what I might do is actually pick out her body and restitch it and just kind of make up for, actually stitching it incorrectly so it looks correct, if that makes sense. And then there's another man that's standing on the side of the tree, so Adam and Eve. So this is really fun. The stitches are just so very small, but I love it. The colors are great. So two fun things about this. For the fabric, I really didn't know what to do. I don't have an LNS. I reached out to the attic and I said, this is what I want to work on. Can you just send me something in 56 count? And I left it at that. And I thought it'd be kind of fun just to see what they send. And so this is Cockle Shell, and it's by Tabby Cat. And I love it. It's kind of got a bit of a pink undertone to it, and I don't know if that's really picking up on here. Maybe a little bit, right? But when I lay out all the spools of thread, it goes beautifully. For the conversion too, we are doing 103 au Versoix, and that was kind of a community effort between about 5 different stitchers that just helped to do that conversion, pull the certain colors together, go to the shops, make sure, iron out the final details on the last few. And so if anybody wants that conversion, just let me know. I've typed it up and I'm happy to send it over to you guys. So if you are stitching Elizabeth Furness, please share your progress. Use the hashtag Elizabeth Furness 1836. If you're posting on Instagram, please tag me in the post because I would love to see your progress, what you think of it so far. Where have you started on it? I know there's some people that are joining in who have already started but just want to get more progress on it. So all in all, I'm loving it. And I have to say, I've only worked on this for 5 days, just at the beginning of the month. And what I want to do for Sampler September is a different sampler every week, and then in October, once I'm done working my round robin, I'm going to make this project here my daily thread, just because I do want to make some progress on it. I'm a bit fearful if I leave this one too long that potentially, you know, my vision could change and I could have trouble stitching it. So I do want to kind of prioritize in getting that one, you know, done, right? So the next one I want to share is something I saw. I can't remember who stitched it. If I find it, I'll put their name on here. They're on Instagram. And this is Inspired by Nature, and it's by Quaint Rose Needle Arts. And I have to tell you, Macey does the most beautiful designing with her patterns. Paper's a little bit bent, but this is the one that I'm stitching right now, and I have shared this before, but if you guys are new to this pattern, it's so much fun. She's taken 2 Fox and Rabbits fabrics, she stitched them together, and then the 2 down here, my camera is a bit blurry today, my 2 down there, they are appliqued on top. Or I think she actually has just pinned hers on top, but you could applique them as well. So I saw this being stitched again by someone else. I thought, oh, I have to pull this out because I love this one. I love how it is a sampler, but it's a little bit different. I love the colors in it. And so I've pulled out all the colors to show you guys. Look at these colors. Oh, see, some I haven't gotten into yet. They are beautiful colors, and they are all gentle art. There's a couple classic work. That's it, gentle art, classic color works for all of it, but beautiful palette. And so this is where I was, and this is where I am today. So I'm really proud of the progress I've made, you guys. What I have done is I have finished going all the way across the top, and I have also done the beetle, the ladybug or the ladybird, and the bumblebee. And I did the 2 big flowers here, and then I started the bee skip and some of the flowers here and a little bumblebee. And this is such a fun pattern. I mean, look at that red. It is so, so beautiful. And that's Buckeye Scarlet by the Gentle Art. Just love that. I have to say, so the fabric on these ones, I think the called for is a 36, but I wasn't able to get the seaweed. So this is seaweed by Fox and Rabbit, and this is Duxbury by Fox and Rabbit. They both ended up being 40 count because I couldn't get the seaweed in 36. I mean, it's hard enough to get Fox and Rabbit in the first place. And I kind of cringed a little bit at getting a 40 because these 2 fabrics, I don't know if you can see there, they are sewn together. The red stitch is just a decorative stitch, but you end up sewing the 2 fabrics together. Every second thread, you're doing a running stitch through both of them, so they have to line up perfectly. So it's important that, you know, if you're doing a piece like this, you're using the same count on the top and bottom, but also by the same company, because you don't want, you know how you look at like Picture This Plus and it's a little bit smaller. That would be quite problematic if you're trying to piece a 32 Picture This Plus with a 32, you know, Fox and Rabbit, for example, right? The sizes will be a little bit different. And so despite choosing both from Fox and Rabbit, the green ended up being 2 in this full distance from here to here, 2 threads shorter than the Duxbury, which is okay. I have fudged that, you can't tell at all. I just knew in my mind when I go to stitch, I can't landmark straight off of here, I have to go off of this side here. So what I've done is I've completed all the way across the top, and then I have completed this whole last page, page number 3. So I have a full page complete on this, plus a little bit extra. So really, really happy with that progress. You know, I highly recommend you guys checking Macey's stuff out. She's Quaint Rose Needle Arts. She has some really lovely, fun pieces. yeah, I've enjoyed that a lot. So those are what I have stitched for the first 2 weeks of September. I have a car project as well, of course, with the kids being back in school, and with my youngest being home, I'm spending a lot less time in the car, which means a lot less car stitching. But I've decided to pull back out my Modern Folk Embroidery, the 8 Biscornio pattern, and this is one that I had done before, I think you guys remember, and then I just need to stitch the other half. So the big question was, do I stitch the same pattern or something different? So this is the piece I had done on the top, and this is all it's just a 40 count gray Zweigart linen with 100 DMC 115, and then this is the one that I've chosen to start. And so it is different. I'll put a picture of it in here while I'm talking so you can see what it's going to look like. But I thought that having the different pieces could be a lot of fun once it's all pieced together. And I've never made a Biscornio, so I'm actually really excited to see how that comes together. I already have the walnut shells and everything I need for the inside, so I just actually need to stitch it and put it together. And you know, something about would you say it's a monochromatic if it's a variegated floss? I guess, right? It's all red, but it's different colors of red. Anyways, using all one floss has been a lot of fun as well, and it's, you know, between this and the Inspired by Nature with that red border on the side, I really want to do an all red sampler, but maybe for another day because I have so much on the go already. Now, my mermaid fiasco. I thought I'd update you on that. This is something I chose to work on at the cabin, and if you watch the video with Samantha and I, you know, I thought maybe I would try changing her face. Didn't go very well. So I am stitching Bluebeard's Princess by Mirabilia, and she is so pretty, but I'm not overly in love with her face, and I mean, that's okay. And I thought I'd change it. I changed it, and it looked super husky, could you say? Very masculine looking. It was terrible. And so I picked the whole thing out and I've restitched it as it's called for. And I'm just letting it kind of marinate a little bit and see what I think, and I may go back and change it. I also may leave it, I'm not sure. I've chose not to back stitch it yet. I just wanted to get some of her skin in. So this is where I was last time you guys had seen it. And this is where I am now. So I have completed her face, her neck, her chest, and her, well, I was gonna say her arms, but not her second arm. So that was a fair bit of work just to do all that skin in there. I elected to do the 2/2, not the 1/1 this time. But the colors on this piece, you guys, is just gorgeous. This is stitched on the called for 32 count Laurel linen by Witchelt. It's super stiff, but you know, although it's not the most fun to stitch in hand because the fabric's so stiff, it looks really beautiful when it is done. And I am stitching this in hand. You know, with the exception of Elizabeth Furness, everything I've stitched this month has been in hand. And I found that when I went to the cabin with Sam, just getting back to that in-hand stitching, for me is so comforting. It's comfort stitching. And I just really enjoy that process. So I kind of, you know, flip-flop back and forth between, am I using frames? Am I stitching in hand? What am I doing? And this month it's been largely in hand. So, yeah, I'm glad I went back and I fixed that because I wasn't happy with it, and I don't like leaving a project tucked away when I'm not happy with it. It is using just all the called for DMC flosses, and the colors are just so pretty on that. Now, the next thing I wanted to share with you guys is my round robin. And so this is something that Samantha the Huga Stitcher, as well as Sarah with Lady Lugana and I are doing. I'm currently stitching Lady Lugana's piece, and it's called Symphony Bouquet by Design Works. And this was a kit that her mom had first bought her when she very first started cross stitching. and she just felt she wasn't getting the progress on it she wanted, and so she elected to share this project with us for round robin. She sent it off to Sam, who did a bunch of stitching on it, and then Sam has passed it to me when we were together last month. So I'll put a picture here of where I was last month, and then right now I have to tell you, I didn't want to iron it because it's not mine, and I don't know if Sarah likes things ironed or not. I have a thread that's going all the way across here for back stitching, and I'm just gonna leave it, so don't judge me. So this is where I'm at right now. This piece has been a lot of fun because it's different than what I normally stitch. It is a larger count. I think it's 14 count Aida, and it's kind of like a gray heather sort of cream color, and it's been fun. So what I have done is I elected to do a lot of back stitching here. Samantha wanted to do more back stitching before she returned it to Sarah, because Sarah had spoken in one of her videos and said, you know, this whole piece, if you look at it, look at the amount of back stitching there. It's crazy. Everything is backstitched, and she had mentioned that she had wished she started backstitching and kind of backstitch as she went. I know Sam really wanted to do more backstitching before she sent it, and so I thought, okay, I can help with that. So I've done the backstitching up top, and then I've started to backstitch what I've been stitching down here. And then my goal before I send this back, I can't even speak, before I send this back to Sarah, is to kind of finish this full area here. And if I have time, I'd like to get in and just do some of this stitching here somewhere. But I'm not sure. I do definitely want to get that stitched and the back stitching. Then when she gets it, you know, only that much is done, which isn't a lot of stitching considering the size of the piece, but I think it will definitely help her to feel a bit more maybe motivated to work on it, and just happy to see some progress has been made. So it's been very fun. I've really appreciated working on that, and I've of course last month sent Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow off to Sarah, and that's Samantha's piece. So and Sam has my Kringles, and I can't wait to see what she's been stitching on that. So now you guys want to see this Kohana store haul. I have a girlfriend, Rana, and Rana loves to travel with her family, and they went to Japan, and while she was there, Rana's quite an active sewer and quilter as well. And if I'll ask, and if she's okay with me sharing her Instagram page, I'll put a link for you guys here and you can go follow her. She doesn't do any cross stitch, but she does a lot of quilting as well. She's quite passionate about the different fabrics as well that are out there. So let me just hit pause and I'll grab her haul. Okay, I hope this video is okay. I'm trying to go a little bit quicker, just so they're not such long videos. I notice a lot of people like to watch only about 25 minutes, so just trying to squeeze things in a little bit quicker for you. Now, when she went down there, she spent, I guess, a large portion of her day in the store, you know, just kind of mulling over everything. She said it was a wonderful experience to go be there in person, seeing all the collections. I mean, you could easily spend a ton of money in this store. So she's got some treasures. I'm gonna save the best treasure for last, and I'm so envious of it. Now, she got some pins, and I think the pins were super cute, and this is one where I think it's definitely worth an add-on if you are ordering online. These are all glass head pins, and they are really fun. You got the more pastels, and then of course these ones are the flat ones. I really love this one, these colors. I love that yellow and the red. So pretty. It's a nice collection of pins. We just won't tell our husbands what those pins cost. Then she has this little one here. I didn't want to take it out of the package. It's a little pin cushion. I couldn't think of the name of it. And it's like a little wooden ball, and then you have the fabric top to it, and they come in all different colors. And then there's a little leather Kohana like tag there. Do you see that? And then so you can hang this through. She said like you can hang it from your necklace while you're stitching or that sort of thing. But it's super cute, and the blue is beautiful. It's a really, really pretty blue. So that's super fun. And then of course she picked up a pair of the tiny snips, which so many of us have, right? Those are easy ones to kind of come by. And then she got some scissors. So all their scissors come, a lot of their stuff come in these beautiful wooden boxes. Very, you know, lightweight, thin boxes. I just love all the stuff from Japan. You know, the way they tend to package stuff is so beautifully. Here we use, you know, cardboard and plastic and nothing fancy, but you know, you got nice fabric on the inside. And she picked up a pair of their, I don't know the actual, what they call them, but just the, like the small scissors. And these are great. Like, look at the point that you get on that. Can you see that there? It's quite a thin, you can get real close with your threads. I know there was an episode I was watching with Nicola and she was talking about scissors and how, you know, what makes a good scissor, and really it's when you turn it sideways and that point, like how thin is that point? Can you really cut nice and close to your thread there? And if you can, you know, it just makes for a much neater cross stitch, especially if you end your thread on the front side of your fabric, and then you just give it a little tug and a nice snip, and then it just pops back in and you don't even see an end on the front or on the back. So those are beautiful. And I think the yellow is a special edition yellow, but I don't know if that was a part of their summer series. I'm not too familiar with the name of their series. I was lucky enough that she was able to pick me up a red pair, so this one is will be going into my collection, and I have been using them for the last couple weeks, and I love them. They're very lightweight, they snip really, really well, and I have given my children all the death warning that if they are to do arts and crafts with this, there's gonna be big, big problems. They're lovely. Another treasure that she got, I thought this is super cute. So it's a spool, and this is a, you know, we would say it's a needle minder, but it is like a pin keep. She said I can open all her stuff on Flosstube. It's so fun opening everything, right? And thank you, Rana, for letting us share this. Because sometimes, you know, I look online and I think if I'm ordering something, I want to make sure it's really what I want. And it's hard if I haven't seen it in person before. So hopefully if you're thinking of placing an order with Kohana, hopefully this helps you out. So this is the spool. Now, this is something that I've looked at ordering myself as well, and I haven't because I wasn't really too sure, you know, what it was like. Well, let me tell you, it's heavy, and it's like ceramic, like it's made out of like, you know, if you were to make like a clay pot or something, right? It's like, it's a nice potted piece. It has a really nice glaze on it. And then your pin, so the hole doesn't go all the way to the bottom. It goes this far. So your pins will stick out, and there's a magnet in there as well. And that this has magnetic paint, so you could even hold your pins on the outside there. So these are really, really cute. They have a few different things that are similar to this. It's something that I don't know if I'm gonna place an order now, because what I really wanted was the scissors, and she was able to pick those up for me. So, and then there's the treasure. Now, the treasure is something I would love, love, love to get, and maybe I'll ask for Christmas for my husband. But it's something I just can't order for myself because it's expensive, but it's so beautiful. This is something, you know, Japan and their crafting is so special. Just the craftsmanship the craftsmanship you see from, you know, their handmade goods is so superior. The detail, the quality, it makes it all worth it. So this all comes in a very nice Kohana box, which I've unwrapped, and look at this. So this is one of their jars. I don't know a good way to show it without my hands being all over it here. So this is a glass vase, which is hand blown. And you can see it's got she chose yellow, and you can see a bit of like the white glass around the edge here. Can you see that? Now, okay, and here's the lid. And this lid has felt inside, like roving, and it serves as a pin keep for these glass head pins. Now, you can also, this goes on top just like a lid. Like think of an old like perfume bottle, right? You can also pop this out and use it as a vase as well if you want. And these come in, I think, 4 different colors. Absolutely gorgeous. I just put died when she took it out of the box. I thought, oh, you didn't. This is something where you look at this and you think, I want that. But in the same breath, like, my husband will divorce me the minute it arrives and he sees what it costs. So it's a treasure for sure. And I'm sure that she will treasure that, and it makes a wonderful, wonderful gift. So if you're, you know, looking, what should I get for Christmas? It's the perfect one and done gift from the family, right? Very, very lovely. Okay, now, last thing I want to talk to you about was 2 more things. What my plans are for the rest of September, and also I wanted to talk to you about a book that I have finished reading that I quite enjoyed. So for plans for end of sampler September, this week I'm working on Dutch Beauty. Dutch Beauty is a great design. I'm sure most of you are familiar with it. It's by Perman of Copenhagen, and it is a reproduction of a Dutch sampler from a 13-year-old girl. But this piece is absolutely huge. I think it's like 380 or 400 stitches. I can't even remember. In my next episode, I will show you guys where I'm at. All I know is I'm stitching it on 40 count, and it is literally a full 3 feet by 2 feet. It's huge. So I want to make some good progress on that. And then the other sampler I want to do is my Modern Folk Embroidery, Lamigan Pot or Lamigan Po. I don't know how to pronounce it. So those are the last 2 samplers I want to work on for this month. And then, you know, something special. I shouldn't say it's special, it kind of comes across the wrong way. Something that's important in Canada and important, you know, worldwide and to me is Truth and Reconciliation. And at the end of September in Canada, we have a holiday on September the 30th. And it's Truth and Reconciliation Day. And this is for Indigenous peoples or First Peoples. And it's a day where we, as people of Canada, need to kind of, you know, take that time to do multiple things. We need to educate ourselves on everything that has happened with First Peoples in Canada and, you know, the gross injustice that their culture has endured, unfortunately. We need to learn about that, and we also need to, you know, think about it, really think about it, process it, and we need to educate about it. We need to share that information with our children and our families, and we need to, I don't want to say respect the lessons, I don't know the right word for it, but we need to hold those lessons dear to our heart and never, ever, ever endure those ever again, regardless of what the culture is, right? And so, you know, when everything kind of came to light with the residential schools and just maybe the last 5 years in Canada, you know, we've really talked a lot about it, and I've read a lot of books on it, just trying to educate myself. And Anyways, I think, you know, I'm always looking for ways that we can connect with the communities, especially on Truth and Reconciliation Day, you know, and being a mom, you know, what can we do to educate our children and kind of connect with these other cultures, at this time, specifically the Indigenous culture. And so, two things I'm doing for that, and I just thought I'd share it with you in case it's something that maybe you're kind of looking for a way to connect during Truth and Reconciliation and educate yourself. There's a couple really good books that I have read or also listened to on Audible. Truth and Reconciliation Council of Canada's put out a really good read as well. But my current read, and I've been reading this one for a while and it's quite well known, and the reason why it's taking me a while is because if you've read it, it is a thinker of a book. So this is Braiding Sweetgrass, and I am almost done it. This book is very interesting. So it's all about sort of Indigenous culture, lessons, teaching, thoughts of a woman who, you know, she kind of defied like the opinions of all the old white males in the university she wanted to attend, and they said, you will never, you know, and she did. And she is like world renowned for what she has done through universities and bringing together, you know, Western, is it biochemistry? What is the term? It doesn't say on the back of the book, but bringing together, I can't think of it, you know, study of plants, botany, with sort of Western teachings and pulling that together with the Indigenous culture and of course all the history and the knowledge that the Indigenous people carry in terms of, you know, harvesting plants and living with the land. And it's very interesting, but it takes a long time to read because I find that you can read, you know, as little as sometimes a paragraph to a page or two, and you almost want to stop and you want to process that and think about it, because there's so many things to think about in this book, so many teachings, so many lessons, and I plan on finishing that this month, which I think will be really good. And then I am lucky enough to be on the receiving end of a cross stitch pattern that I've been dying to stitch and I have been saving to start. And so this pattern is Butternut Road, and it's called Earth Dancer. Ooh, I'm dropping everything in my lap. I have this huge pile, you guys should see it. Okay, this is the pattern. Hold on, let me get something to go behind it here, 1 second. So this pattern's been along for a really long time and it's absolutely gorgeous. I don't know if you guys have seen this one finished, but it is really lovely. And I thought to myself, you know, it's something I've always wanted to stitch. Sometimes it's a hard pattern to come across. I was talking about it on one of my floss tubes, and this lovely lady from down the state said she had purchased an estate sale and she stitches exclusively samplers and reproductions, and this was in the sale, and it's just not in her plans to stitch, and she wanted to know if she could send it on to me to stitch. And amazing. Thank you so very much for your generous gift. She was able to send up the pattern, all the little goodies, the specialty, you know, the beads, the threads, and there's like some suede threads in this one. It's a little bit different, as well as the fabric and everything except the DMC, which is like the easiest part to get up. So I went down to my local store and just grabbed some DMC, and it's all ready to go. So, you know, this for me is a special stitch. I think that it's a stitch that I can kind of be quite thoughtful while I'm stitching it, and I'm looking forward to stitching it, you know, and just the process of that stitch I think will be really nice. So I likely will listen to, you know, Audible with different books on Indigenous culture, largely truth and reconciliation based as well at this point when I'm stitching that. So the piece means a little bit more to me than, you know, an average cross stitch piece that I stitch. So those are my plans for September. And then at the end of the summer, I was able to finish up a novel, and I quite enjoyed it, and I thought I would just share it with you guys. And this is called The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society. It's a huge mouthful. And look at this. It's on Netflix too. So I read the book, and my girlfriend, who's also read the book, said she watched Netflix, and she's, you know, give it a little time before you watch the Netflix episode. And I couldn't. I watched it like the next day when I was done, and it was actually really good. I enjoyed it. And so this is historical fiction, and it's about a girl from London who decides, is that London? Paris, London? Can't remember now. And she is she's an author, and she connects with some people from the island of Guernsey, and just learning about their experience during the German occupation, and she ends up kind of settling in to see what life is like on the island and meeting the people of Guernsey, and she just ends up falling in love with life there and some other things. So it was a very good book. I really did enjoy it. The movie was pretty good too. It was, of course, had its differences, but it was something that, you know, we did enjoy watching. I think my youngest watched it with me as well. He's very interested in anything to do with, you know, planes and World War II and stuff like that. So he's a bit of a history buff, and so it was nice to be able to watch that with him. Okay, my EPP. The EPP quilt, I am saving that for next video. I'm hoping to film every 2 weeks while I have my youngest home with me. And so I had a lot of sort of, you know, back stuff to share with you guys today, and I wanted to get that out of the way, get up to date, and then next week just share what I'm working on right now, and that will include my EPP quilt, which is getting a little bit larger. I think that's about it for today. I thank you guys so very much for joining me. Next episode will be a bit more of a regular episode. You know, I'll talk about what I'm watching and some community stuff as well. Oh, and I should add on here too, you know, Samantha and I were planning to go to Stitch North, and unfortunately something personal has come up and we've had to cancel. You know, well, one of us could still go. We don't feel it's right to go without the other. You know, it was an experience that we really want to share together, and we will go to Stitch North, just not this October. We're quite disappointed, but you know, this is life, right? So if anyone, you know, was hoping to connect with us there, unfortunately we won't be there at this time, but we will be there in the future, and hopefully you'll be there then too. And for those that are going, we hope you guys really do enjoy your time there. I think it's a fantastic event, and it's a great way for stitchers to connect. And in the meantime, I'm working on setting up another local stitching meetup date for October. So I will have that information on my next episode if you guys are local and want to attend. There'll be some info for you at that time. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I hope you have a lovely day and enjoy autumn. Bye-bye.